We've been told for 40 years that this is how you build the future, one slice at a time. But what I was looking at didn't have slices. I had to find out if this was a gimmick or revolution. Because if it's real, it means the entire $33 billion 3D printing industry has been settling for a 40-year-old mistake. I didn't believe this was real when I first saw the footage. I thought it was a render or a clever camera trick, because in the world of 3D printing we've been conditioned to expect a certain rhythm. A slow, mechanical back and forth, a nozzle tracing lines like a glue gun, or a laser drawing on liquid, layer by agonizing layer. But what I was looking at didn't have slices, it didn't have a nozzle, it was just a cylinder of light and resin, and in less than 2 minutes a fully formed complex medical device just manifested. I had to find out if this was a gimmick or revolution. For 4 decades we've lived with a specific sound. Listen to this. That zip sound when I scratch the side of this 3D print, that's the sound of the staircase effect. Every curve you see on a 3D printed object today is a lie. It's actually a series of jagged microscopic steps. We've accepted this as the price of progress. We sand it, we polish it, we paint over it. But doing some research and reading from audiologists, I learned something capital. The hardest part of a hearing aid isn't the sophisticated microchips or the microphones. It's the plastic shell that touches your skin. Your ear canal is as unique as a fingerprint, and it's incredibly sensitive. If a 3D printer creates a shell that is off by just 0.5 millimeters, the width of a few human hairs, it's not just an imperfect fit, it's a bacterial trap. Those tiny staircase ridges become breeding grounds for infections. They cause pressure sores. For 40 years we've been forced to sand and polish human bodies to fit the limitations of our machines. We were promised Star Trek replicators. Instead, we got a 2D mindset forced into the 3D world. Every printer on Earth, from the $200 hobbyist machine to the $1 million industrial rig, is a prisoner of the layer. To understand why this is so hard to fix, we have to look at the sunk cost of our history. In 1984, Chuck Hall patented stereoscopy, or SLA for short. He solved a massive problem. How do you turn liquid into a solid, predictable shape? His solution was a slice. It was a genius workaround for the time. Computers in the 80s couldn't calculate 3D volumes in real time, but they could calculate a 2D map. So we spent the next 40 years perfecting the 2D map. We made the lasers faster, we made the layers thinner, we spent billions of dollars trying to make the stairs so small you could barely see them. But no matter how small you make the steps, you're still climbing a staircase. You're still fighting the z-axis. I found a lab in Denmark called Perfi Technologies, a spin-out from the Technical University of Denmark, and I wanted to know, how do you build something without using layers? How do you cheat the physics of light?
Perfi Technologies is a spin-out from the Technical University of Denmark. We are a team of 4 founders with a very diverse background. The company has originated from the research conducted at DTU that eventually, after seeing the potential of this technology, we decided to incorporate in March 2024.
When I sat down with the founders, I realized they weren't just building a better printer. They were questioning the fundamental dogma of manufacturing. Since 1984, the industry has been obsessed with the point or the plane. You either draw a point, like FDM or SLA, or you project a plane, like DLP or MSLA. But Perfi is obsessed with the volume. To understand the breakthrough, you have to understand the nightmare of light control. If you shine a light into a bucket of resin, the whole thing should just turn into a giant, useless block of plastic. That's why we've used layers for 40 years. It was the only way to control the reaction. When I saw the Perfi machine in action, I realized they were performing a physics heist. They call it Volumetric Additive Manufacturing, or VAM for short. Think of it like a CT scan, but in reverse. A CT scan takes thousands of 2D X-ray images from every angle around your body and reconstructs them into a 3D model on a computer screen. VAM takes a 3D model on a computer and projects thousands of 2D light patterns into a rotating vat of resin to reconstruct a physical object in the real world.
Volumetric printing uses the underlying principle of photopolymerization, but instead of printing layer by layer, we expose the light from the side onto a cylinder that rotates and contains liquid photopolymer resin. Now, because we expose the entire part simultaneously, we are capable of producing parts within 30-40 seconds as opposed to hours as it is with traditional additive manufacturing.
But here's where it becomes incredibly difficult. How to keep the rest of the resin from hardening?
The answer is a phenomenon called the gelation threshold. It is the most elegant piece of engineering I've seen in years. Most resins aren't on or off. They require a specific cumulative dose of energy to trigger polymerization. The chemical process where liquid monomers chain together into solid polymers. Think of a single ray of light like a ghost. It passes through the resin without leaving a trace. It doesn't have enough energy to cross that threshold. But Perfi's algorithm is a mathematical masterpiece. It calculates exactly how to rotate the vat and exactly what images to project so that thousands of ghost rays intersect at the same exact coordinates in 3D space. Only at those points does the energy build up enough to cross the magic line. Only there does the light turn to solid. Everywhere else, the light is too weak to do anything. It just passes through, leaving the surrounding resin perfectly liquid. But don't be fooled. This isn't just a software trick. It's a material science war. To make this work, the resin has to be specifically tuned. It has to be transparent enough for light to reach the center of the vat. That's reactive enough to harden in seconds. It has to be viscous enough, meaning thick like honey, so that the object floats in place while it's being formed. If the resin is too thin, the object sinks as it grows, ruining the geometry. If it's too thick, you can't wash the excess off. Perfi is working with epoxies, acrylates and even ceramic slurries. They are balancing oxygen inhibition, a chemical process that usually ruins 3D prints, and turning it into a tool for precision. It's a high-wire act of chemistry and calculus.
Because VAM uses the underlying photopolymerization principles, pretty much any material that can react to light can be printed. You can use epoxies, we are using acrylates for example, you can also create ceramic slurries and so on.
Mathematically, it's a beautiful integral of light intensity over time, but visually, it looks like a hologram turning into stone. Because the whole object is exposed to light at the same time, the print time actually doesn't depend on how tall the object is. In a traditional 3D printer, a 10 centimeter tall object takes 10 times longer than a 1 centimeter print, because you have to stack 10 times the amount of layers. In the Perfi machine, it doesn't matter, because you're not stacking layers, you're exposing the whole object at once. We're talking 30 to 40 seconds for medical grade parts.
Seconds as opposed to hours, so that's a very strong argument within the core of the technology. However, it brings one more major benefit. In the layer by layer processes, we have to deal with the staircase effect as a result of printing layer by layer, and also support structures. In our technology, we do not need supports, and our parts come shiny as smooth as it is after manual hours of polishing.
So no layers, no zip sound, no staircase. And because the object is floating in that thick resin, you don't even need supports. This is the part that hobbyists will find hard to believe. In every other form of 3D printing, you have to build a forest of plastic scaffolds to hold up overhanging parts. You spend hours printing materials that you're just going to break off and throw in the bin. It's wasteful, it leaves scars on the prints, and it's a massive pain to remove. Perfi just eliminated it, so resin itself is the support. But this isn't just about a cool machine in a lab in Lyngby. This is about the total collapse of the centralized medical supply chain. Let's look at the current reality. Right now, if you need a custom-fit hearing aid, you go to a clinic. They scan your ear, the digital file is then emailed to a massive factory, often in a different country. There, a technician puts it into a queue. A slow, traditional printer builds it over several hours. Then, Another human worker has to sit at a bench with a Dremel and sandpaper to manually remove the staircase effects and polish it until it won't hurt your ear. Then it's boxed, shipped and delivered back to your doctor. The whole process takes 3 weeks. In a world powered by this technology, that 3-week wait becomes a 20-minute coffee break. You get scanned, the doctor hits manifest, and by the time you've finished your espresso, you walk out with a biocompatible, perfectly smooth device that was built at the speed of human biology.
There are many applications where that can benefit from this technology. Anywhere where there is a clear need for a local and easy production of customized devices, such as audiology, dentistry, biomedical research, and so on.
This is what decentralized manufacturing actually looks like. It's moving the factory to the point of care. Perfi has already cleared the most terrifying hurdle for any medical startup, the biocompatibility assessment. They are now entering pilot tests with audiology partners, with a market launch aimed for 2027. They're starting with ears, because that's where the perfect fit, the Perfi namesake, matters most. But the roadmap leads to dentistry, where near fit means chronic pain, and eventually to complex biomedicine and lab-on-a-chip devices that traditional printers simply cannot produce, because their layers are too thick for microscopic fluid channels.
We have just received the positive biocompatibility assessment of our components, therefore we will be entering pilot testing with our partners within the audiology. And we are hoping to release our product to the market at the start of 2027.
I spent weeks trying to find the catch. I looked for the flow in the physics, and what I found was that the biggest hurdle wasn't the technology, it was our own imagination. We spent 40 years convinced that layer by layer was the only way to build. We got so good at managing the compromise that we forgot it was a compromise. We built entire industries around fixing the problems that layers created, without ever stopping to ask if we could just stop using layers entirely.
Perfi actually comes from the words perfect fit, and it is because we strongly believe that personalization can be available for everybody and everywhere.
The layer was a brilliant bridge to the future, but we've reached the other side. Nature doesn't build in slices. Trees don't grow in 2D layers. Our cells don't stack like bricks. Nature builds in volumes, it builds in gradients, and it builds in organic, seamless curves. For the first time in the history of the Industrial Revolution, we are finally catching up to how nature actually works. We are moving away from the slicing mindset, we are moving away from the stacking mindset. The future of making things is manifestation. It's the ability to take light and turn it into matter, all at once, perfectly. The 3D printing revolution didn't start in 1984. That was just a prologue. The real story starts now, when we finally stop thinking in 2D. The layer's dead. And honestly, looking at the smooth, clear, perfect results coming out of that Denmark lab, it's about time.